Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is the Ramble. This is Alex Bennett, and we'll be with you until midnight Eastern Daylight Time. Ladies and gentlemen, the person you're seeing I know by another name, but we have on the screen the name Walter Sterling. Hello, Walter.
And you have another name, but you're known by Alex Bennett.
Yeah, well, I don't make any bones about the fact that my name is Bennett Schwarzman.
You never changed it, did you?
I never changed it because the reason I did Bennett Schwarzman was because Bennett Schwarzman is too difficult a name. I mean, it takes up a lot of room, okay? And in those days, you wanted to go with a simpler name. So originally, I was Jerry Bennett. And then when my father died, whose name was Alex, I changed it to Alex Bennett, and that was perfect. That stuck with me forever. So I come legitimately by both names, okay?
Well, there's nothing legitimate about you.
Yes, that's cool. That's unquestionable. Nothing illegitimate. How are you doing out there in Cleveland, Ohio?
But by the way, there are other long names like B. Mitchell Reed. Now, that was pretty long.
Not as long as Bennett Schwarzman. There are 11 letters in Schwarzman, and there are 6 letters in Bennett for a total of 17 letters. Now, B, Mitchell Reed, now I think it's shorter. Yeah.
And he spelled it weird. It's 1 L.
Oh, really? He probably didn't want to be as long.
Probably.
Yeah, that's probably why he did it. B. Mitchell Reed, in case people don't know, was a well-known radio broadcaster.
Did you know him?
No, I did not.
He was also, and he never got credit for this. I don't know why he doesn't get credit for this. Mm-hmm. Everybody talks about the guy on the West Coast who started freeform progressive rock.
Right.
The large guy. What was his name?
Oh, well, that was Tom Donahue, but he didn't really start it. There was another guy at another station in San Francisco who did start it. He just started. They gave him. It was on. I think the station was KSAN, and they gave him the midnight to 6 in the morning slot, and they said, "Do anything you want to." So he started playing all this progressive music. I'm trying to remember his name right now, and he is really the guy who originated it. Tom Donahue heard that. Quit KYA, went over to, I can't remember, where'd he go?
KM something.
KMPX, is that it?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and he took that format and did it full time. So he is then credited with progressive radio.
But he did it with B. Mitchell Reed. And Mitch Reed never gets credit for that. They did it together. They did it at the same time at Pasadena Presbyterian Church. KPPC in Los Angeles.
You know, those were the days when every call letter meant something. You know, like WMCA here in New York. You know where the MCA comes from?
Shame on me. No, I don't.
The studios were in the McAlpin Hotel.
Wow.
The original studios, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where was that hotel?
It was down on Broadway somewhere. It was around when I first got here. Yeah.
But you didn't broadcast from there.
Oh no! By then we had our own studios, and
at 57th Street.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, not at 57th. We had the original studios I worked at was on Madison Avenue.
Oh. Yeah.
I can't remember the address exactly, but it was right up the street from CBS because Madison Avenue had all the radio stations, all the advertising agencies, and so on. And then later it moved to 57th Street. But did I work there? Yeah, I worked there for a short time.
Was Barry Gray nice to you?
Barry Gray was very, very nice to me. He made me his kind of, what's the word we're looking for?
Sub?
His sensei.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of a protege of Barry Gray's, and he liked me a lot. until the station decided to fire me, and then all of a sudden he didn't like me a lot because he wanted to keep the Strausses happy.
Well, it was not easy to keep the Strausses happy, I imagine.
Strausses, we have to explain this because it's you and I talking to each other. The Strausses were the two horrible people that owned the radio station. She used to refer to us as the little people, you know.
And she meant it.
And she meant it, yeah. He was the son, it was the grandson of the couple that died on the Titanic. And then the family had also started Macys. Okay, you know, that's when you watch a Titanic movie, there's always the couple, and no, you go, no, I'll stay with you, and they stay and they go down with the ship. It's the only time they ever went down with each other. Then they owned Macys, and so he was the Macys heir, kind of, and she was Sulzberger, New York Times. So the New York Times married Macys, you know, and it was like one of those important marriages. But
Well, actually, it was an important marriage.
Yeah.
Because Macy's funded the New York Times. They were the number one advertiser in the
really?
New York Times.
Okay,
They
yeah.
were the number one advertiser in the New York Times. So if Macy's got really annoyed at the Times and
Yeah.
pulled their advertising, the New York Times would have a problem.
Yes.
The other thing about Macy's that never is revealed, I don't understand this. I absolutely don't
By
understand.
the way, we don't have to explain Macys to anybody because they're all over the country for right now.
What is amazing is during the Giuliani administration, there was a big push to get big box stores like Costco and Sam's Club, big box stores into Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big push. And Giuliani and other retailers pushed against it, saying, we don't need block-long stores. What do we need block-long stores for? And I'm sitting there going, Macy's is a block-long store. Macy's takes up an entire block. We
Yeah.
seem to have broken that barrier some time ago.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't they go all the way to the other street on the back of them?
It is a full block.
Yeah. And they still have the wooden escalators there that were in the original Macy's.
They do, but they don't have their picture windows.
Oh, they had big picture windows.
Well, they had big showcase windows on the street.
Yeah, of course, but they don't anymore?
No, cars drove into them about a month ago and destroyed
Oh,
them.
I see. Okay, you're talking about that. I'm saying
Yeah,
that
that.
up as I can remember before I went down there, and I haven't hardly been anywhere in 6 months.
Yeah.
You know,
Who does the best delivery for you?
who does the best delivery? Well, I mean, Amazon is probably without peer in being able to order anything you want.
It's amazing.
But
It's amazing.
for food, I like to go to Costco, so I use Instacart.
Right.
And that cost me about $40 an order, but I always used to spend at least 20 on cabs to get over there. So
Right.
actually, it's only costing me $20 more to have Instacart do it for me.
Plus, another extra 20 when you went there buying things you didn't need.
Yes, yes, because they don't offer everything online. You can't get
No.
everything through Instacart. They haven't had Bounty paper towels for the longest time now.
No.
And I don't understand why, because I bet if I go there, they're sitting there on the shelves. You know?
Probably also, if you think about it, things like one of their paper towel packs is so huge
Yes.
that it takes up a lot of space for that.
Yeah, but that's why that's why Costco exists. Everything you buy there is bigger. If you buy the cashews, they're in a big jar, not a small jar. And,
Yeah.
But that's been the way things have been working here. But I've been really basically stuck in the house except to go get a root canal.
I got a root canal last week.
Yeah, kind of expensive.
Well, depends on your insurance.
I have insurance.
And I finally found the right dentist. And the right dentist did this in such a way that I had zero pain, either during it or after it. None.
Good, really.
Zero.
I had For me, it was anguishing. I was in the chair yesterday for the second one of the thing for 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours.
He gave me a shot that I think was meant for a horse.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, the shot he gave me didn't wear off for 2 days.
Do you know how many shots she gave me yesterday?
How many?
6.
Oh,
So anyway, it's going to cost me $1,500.
that's a lot, but not for New York.
Not for New York, but I mean that's with my insurance. Be a lot higher if I didn't have insurance. But anyway, we're going all over the place here. Let's stick right now on this call with we call it a call. Is this a call? A Zoom a call?
Yes.
It is? Okay. Let's deal with the coronavirus.
Yes.
And how it's affecting you. Now, you're in the radio business. You have a radio show on Clear Channel. What's the company now?
We are independently syndicated via the Westwood One satellite.
Okay. All right. So he has a show, and it's on Sunday nights, 10 o'clock Eastern?
10 p.m. Eastern to 1 a.m. Eastern.
Right.
And then now, don't be annoyed.
Yeah.
Now I'm also on Saturdays, local, live, on WABC at 9 p.m.
Oh, really? Okay. They're carrying that show, or is it a separate show?
It's a local live show just for WABC.
Oh, okay. Good. That's terrific.
So now I come on after Bruce Morrow.
Really? Oh, this is the guy bought the radio station and is hiring all the old folks. Maybe I should go over and say hello to him.
Probably.
Yeah.
So when they said, okay, so Bruce will be on from 6 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who don't know, Bruce is all air hammer, energy, bum, 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 bum. I'm like, not too much pressure there. Coming on after a legend who talks very fast, following a no-show who speaks slowly, this is going to be quite something.
Yeah. Well, good. But this guy's going around trying to hire all the old people in New York City. So.
He's hiring, I don't think that's fair. He's hiring his favorites. And you know what? If you're a billionaire and you own the Red Apple chain and you love radio, this guy loves radio, he's hiring all his favorites, and God bless him. You know what's great about this guy, John Catsimitas?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my phone is making noise. The great thing about him, this guy did not buy the radio station, WABC, as an investment. It is, in fact, on paper, a bad investment. He bought it because he loves radio. It's been a long time since you and I have worked for somebody who owns radio stations because they love radio. He just loves these guys, and it's amazing.
Gee, I wonder if he remembers me.
I don't know if I'd make it about yourself, Alex, but I'm sure you could get it there. I'm sure you could get it there.
What do you mean I could get it there? What I'm saying is if he's hiring all the old timers in New York City, ta-dam.
I would do things to remind him.
What, like stand outside his house with picket signs?
No, I would do things to remind him.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later. So we got about 2 minutes left here. I want to do another one of these, so we have a couple of them in the can. So you've been doing your show. You do your show on those nights from your laundry room.
Yes.
And you are right now in?
My laundry room.
This is the laundry room.
This is the laundry. You want to see it?
Yeah, show a little bit of your laundry room. I mean, he's not lying. Oh, by the way, there's an old RCA 44.
Which we love.
I grew up on that microphone. I grew up talking into that microphone. Also, also the 77s, right?
It's a 77.
Yeah.
And then there's the board.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. But where's the washer and dryer?
Let's wait.
Okay. There's all the equipment, and here comes. This is the basement, isn't it? This is the washroom. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What is that all piled up there? Is that
laundry?
Laundry.
And then there's the Christmas tree.
Yeah. Well, the Christmas tree. You have the Christmas tree. Well, okay.
So that's a Septicor and a portable air conditioner, which is also known as the Lifesaver.
Yeah.
So that's what we have.
Okay.
It's a fully equipped laundry room.
Yeah.
And sometimes I let it run during the show. Sometimes
really?
I just let the equipment
because you
run.
make a big deal of the fact that you do it from the laundry room. Hey, I just looked at the clock here. We're running out of time, but we'll do another one of these because I want people to hear more from you, and I got a lot of questions to ask you about broadcasting in the age of the coronavirus. By the way, just look in the camera so I can say goodbye to you. It's all over the place. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Walter Sterling. He can be heard on radio stations across America on Sunday nights. Thank you, Walter. I appreciate it. Always love talking to you.
Thanks, Alex.
Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
That's my old friend Walter Sterling, and he'll be on with us again maybe next week and the week afterwards. We did about 3 of those today, so I enjoy him. I like him, and he's over the years been pretty good to me. That's not a qualification for why I like somebody, but why not? Anyway, it is time to go to our panel, as it were. And it's called a citizen panel for good reason. It is called a citizen panel because we get a bunch of people together and we talk. Now, we've been doing this for the longest time. We used to do it on Skype, and then along came Zoom, and here we are, and here is what a citizen panel starts to look like. Let me see here. Let me put on the Zoom panel. There we are, and here comes also Robert Natali as well. Hello. Well, let's see here. I guess he has to push a button on his side. Yeah, there's Robert. Hello, Robert. How are you?
Alex, gentlemen, good evening.
Yes, and Josh, good to have you with us tonight. And Brian Ludwig, good to have you as well.
Thank you.
You're looking like wearing that hat. You look like the Boston Strangler. It's really, yeah, it's good. Does that double as your face mask?
Correct.
Yeah. Is it good? Does it work? Because they're saying that some of the face masks are not really up to snuff. They seem like they are, but they're not.
Well, here's the thing. It works. It's comfortable. I'm operating under mandate. I'm obeying the law. And it also, more importantly, it feels comfortable for me. It actually feels more comfortable than not wearing it, in fact. But here's the thing. I share Mr. Alfano's optimism. And, of course, I'm being ironic when I say that, as I said to Jack Bishop a few weeks ago. They're estimating that 70% of Allegheny County, remember people, I live in Pittsburgh, but 70% of Allegheny County is going to get infected anyway. And with all these new findings coming out that not only are certain masks ineffective, but that this virus travels further than 6 feet than originally thought. They actually think it travels up to 16 feet. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we're all.
Well, I mean, look, we
a liberal pick.
Yeah,
we're fucked all ways.
Well, to be honest with you, we are not. We don't know everything we need to know about this. I don't think. I think we're working on the best science that we have at our disposal at the moment, so where we thought 6 feet was enough. I mean, I was thinking for the longest time that why is it 6 feet? Why isn't it 10 feet? Why isn't it 20 feet? Why isn't it a foot and a half?
Why are we being told to test when most of us can't afford?
I'd say be like I've been all my life. Avoid human beings at all costs.
Oh, I've done that for years.
Yeah.
Myself.
Hello, Charlie. Hello, Josh. Hello, Howard. Howard's in Hawaii. That's not really his view from his window. That's a green screen, which looks good. I've been thinking about getting a green screen here.
Get one.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. Well, for other stuff that we do, I don't want to use it necessarily on this show. Isn't this a nice background? Don't you think?
Yeah.
You've gotten used to it, haven't you? As I put
That's
on.
a real picture. I took that shot.
You mean this shot of Hawaii?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real picture. It's just I happen to be in my messy office.
Yeah.
Not on the beach.
Right. By the way, here comes the other Brian Neary. Hello, Brian.
Hi.
Good. How are you? Brian? Oh, he's waving. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Turn up your mic a little bit. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Just turn it up a little bit if you can. Let me see here. So, okay, we got a good bunch here so far. Here comes Rob Alfano. He's going to join the party as well.
Is it a Phil-less Friday?
I don't think so. He didn't say so.
Maybe something happened to his gun.
Huh? Yeah, well, he was out last night because he was taking gun lessons or something. I don't know.
Or his weapon. Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's probably gun safety.
What it wasn't gun safety. It was how to use a gun, how to use an AK. What AR-15 was it?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, an assault weapon. Yeah, right. Yeah, aim, pull, trigger. Yes, Brian. Other Brian, not the Brian with the kid. Brian who probably will never procreate. Brian.
No, I won't.
Yeah.
In fact, no, I was just going to say, if Phil doesn't show up today, you have me to argue with if all of you start once again touting the virtues of those neoliberal swine that have gotten the nomination, who said they'd vote down Medicare for all. So they're about as useless to me as
no, they didn't say that. They haven't said that.
Joe Biden did.
Did Joe Biden say it, Robert? I go to Robert because he watches everything.
He actually said it twice, from what I
Yeah,
understand.
he said he'd veto it. If it
Yeah,
came to-
he's gone.
Well, no, but wait a minute. But you haven't heard what? Maybe he's got a better idea. You don't know.
What is better than Medicare for all? Medicare for some?
Single payer.
Well,
Medicare for all is a simple way of trying to say single payer.
He also said he wants to bring back the Affordable Care Act as it previously existed under the Obama administration. So what he wants to do is he wants to bring back the notion that the working poor can get fined for not having a predatory health plan. And, I heard some people on here say, well, you can get Medicaid. Well, you have to go through all kinds of hoops, chutes, and fucking ladders in order to get it. That's assuming, of course, you're qualified to begin with. Fuck that.
Yeah.
But that was the
The DNC
Republicans'
can go fuck
fault.
himself.
That's exactly right. That's what I was going to say.
Wait a minute, Rob, what were you
That's
going to say?
exactly what I was going to say. Obama got through what he could get through, right?
Right.
If they control the House and the Senate
Which
and
they
the presidency.
In Obama's first term.
Yeah, in his first term, but he didn't get to do the health care at that point.
I think there was a good reason why he didn't, too, Rob, is because Clinton did, and it got screwed. That in your first term, it's harder to get stuff passed than in your second term. And you don't want to blow all your goodwill that you got in being elected on futile things that you're going after. So he waited to the second term to do it.
That's just one issue. Then there's also, the incarceration legislation that Joe Biden co-sponsored. A lot of African.
How long ago was that?
Doesn't
the world
matter.
has changed.
It does matter. It does matter.
He also wants to criminalize raves. He said that too. So
He
criminalize marijuana use.
What? No,
Harris,
I don't. I've never heard him say that.
I never heard that either.
No, anybody heard that here?
No.
Regarding raves.
Biden was the
No,
one who
I-
initiated the Rave Act 20 years ago.
The what?
Oh, something called the Rave Act, where basically if you had a rave party, the government could seize your home.
A rave party?
What does that mean? What is
An
that?
XTC party. This is 20 years ago.
Oh, ecstasy
Yeah.
party. Yeah.
Ecstasy.
Yes, Brian, other Brian.
I was just doing my raver.
Oh, I see. I thought you were trying to get my attention.
No.
Gee, where's Phil tonight? Maybe he's mad at us now or something. I don't know.
I'll call him up, see where he's
Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. Yes, Charlie. I'm sorry. I'm a little out of it, so I'm always out of it. What do you mean? Go ahead, Charlie.
That's okay. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that it was the Republicans' part about Medicaid because the original Obama Affordable Care Act, you were fined if you didn't, but that wasn't for poor people because poor people could get subsidies. It was the Republicans that kept screwing up the subsidies and refused to expand Medicaid.
Right.
When the federal government was going to pay 100% of the cost, the Republican states still would not expand Medicaid.
Yep.
Well, over the subsequent 4 years or so, the Democrats lost 2/3 of the legislature, lost most of the governorships. That's bad campaigning on Nancy Pelosi's part.
Oh, yeah.
On Obama's
Absolutely.
part.
Well, but
Yeah, no argument there.
the Republicans gerrymandered the hell out of the whole country. That's how they were able to gain control of the whole country. You know, the state
Yeah.
houses.
And what allowed the Republican takeover? Bad DNC campaigning. So as far as I'm
Exactly.
concerned, a box on both their houses. They
Well, who the fuck are you going to vote for?
Yeah, but that's
Brian?
the problem,
Green.
Brian.
That's what I'm
Someone
gonna vote
gets
for,
in.
Green.
Yeah, what you
Who's
want
the Green
Trump? You want?
Party?
We'll do it your way, and Trump will get elected again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd rather vote on principle than harm my vote.
All
away.
right, great. Well, I rather
Remember that when he died
vote
from
on not
COVID?
getting killed because we have a president who's out to lunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're either killed with a bullet traveling.
Do you want
45 miles
Trump?
an hour
I
or
guess
bullet
I guess
traveling
what
90
you're
miles an hour.
saying is
We're
you
still gonna
want
get killed.
what you're saying is you want Trump for another 4 years.
I didn't say that.
Well, that's what you're going for here.
You're gonna get.
Your lesser of two evils mentality. is
No,
what's
this isn't
So there's
lesser of
only
two
two
evils.
people that have a chance to be president, either Joe Biden or Donald Trump.
You
That's
have
the
to pick
only
one.
two people that I'm sorry.
Have
You
to
look
pick
at
one. It's
100 years of
unfortunate.
history.
It's unfortunate, but
Don't,
that's
don't say I don't want either because you're going to have one of them.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't want either, and I'm
Well,
not going to.
Yeah, but you're gonna get one of them.
Oh well, if I do, you guys, your representatives.
It's
should
your
do a better
mentality
job
that got us stuck with.
placating me.
It's your
Yeah.
mentality that got us stuck with Trump in the first place.
Don't
168
gaslight
dead
me.
Americans
Don't
that wouldn't be
gaslight
dead if
me.
Hillary were president.
What?
Don't gaslight me and
I'm
force
not
me to
gaslighting you. I am not
to the Senate.
gaslighting you. You don't even know what gaslighting means. No, what I'm saying is, your mentality got Trump elected. Okay, I don't want either of those people. I'm going to vote for the very silly party. You know,
I
Or
would vote
write
for
in.
my side because the other side is even worse, even though my side is almost as bad. Yeah, that's pretty much a
so
summary
who
of
are you
what
going to
I
vote
think
for?
gaslighting means.
Who are you going to vote for?
I do know what gaslighting means.
Who are you,
So
what
you
does it
would
mean?
rather have
Where
the
does it
worst
come
one?
from? Where does it come from, that term?
I don't know where it comes from, but I looked up the definition.
Oh, and what does it mean?
Means vote for my side.
No.
No.
The term gaslighting came from a movie in the 1940s called Gaslight with Charles Boyer, in which he's a guy who makes his wife think she's crazy so she'll kill herself. That's where the term gaslighting comes from.
Okay.
There's
So
clips
you're
of it on
crazy.
YouTube. I've watched it.
Yeah.
Keep
Mhm.
saying it and you'll believe it.
Huh?
Like they say, keep saying it and they'll eventually believe it.
Yeah.
That's what we have going on today.
Yeah.
Now he's trying the birther thing with Camilla Harris,
Yeah,
right?
he's trying it again.
And he says, I don't know, this is what I hear, but people then take that and it becomes, the same thing as Hillary running up a child pornography ring out of a pizza place in DC. I mean, come on.
Unfortunately, there are enough stupid people where that might work.
Well, but that's the problem. See, that's why Donald Trump is so damn dangerous. Way more dangerous. You may not like Biden. I'm not a huge fan. But when you weigh them, you know it's going to be one or the other. And you have to
Politicians
pick the
like Biden are
lesser
what
of
got
the
us
two
Trump to begin
evils.
with.
Say again?
Politicians like Trump, like Biden and Obama and the Clintons especially, are what got us Trump to begin with.
That could be very well the truth, but another 4 years of Trump is pretty scary for this country
Yeah.
and the
I think
world.
it'll be
Forget
fatal
just
for
the
Trump.
country.
Well, there's more than two options.
I mean, I all my life have often said I wish that we had 3 or 4 parties that were in fact. Oh, here's Phil coming on. That are that we had 3 or 4 parties that were viable,
Right.
but we don't. It's
And
not
they
the
all
kind
need
of
the
democracy
same-
we live
The two
in.
And
party
it's an
duopoly made
equal
them
playing
inviable.
field. It's an equal playing field amongst those parties, but it's not, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you're one of the other parties, you haven't got a chance. And we have to
and
be
you're
realistic
playing right-
about that. And
You're
it
playing right into Donald Trump's
Only
hands
so
because
many issues.
that's why he's going after and spending money trying to get Kanye West on the ticket for that very reason.
And the biggest problem, the things that, like Rob said, when people say that, when Trump says that, that gets forwarded all the time by Trumpers, just back and forth
Right.
on each side, and the lies, and it just grows and grows and grows, and people don't even think about it; they just blast it out there.
Let's see, how many people do we have? Oh, yes.
Let's have a
12.
royal flush or full
Do
house.
they really believe about the pizza theory? That's
Yeah,
why I
there
don't
are
get my
people who
pizza on
believe
time.
Oh, yeah,
How
they
insane.
believe that. Let me see here. What is this? Is this a full house?
There are people who-
Wait a
There was
minute.
somebody who held up
Wait a minute, hold on a second.
Royal flush.
A royal flush. Okay,
There are
we got a
people who
royal
believe
flush.
that the world is flat.
Huh?
There are people in this day and age
Yeah.
who have seen satellite photos. We circle the Earth with satellites. A whole world is connected via satellite, and these people believe the world is flat.
Yeah, that's all Photoshop. Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna
I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah,
I took a hot shower and the water was still hot. I mean, I took a cold shower and the water was hot.
What
so
does that
it's
mean?
100 degrees here. It's 8 o'clock at night.
Oh wow!
Life sucks.
You guys don't.
Hey,
normally-
you're taking my position in life now. Life sucks. You get your prostate work done. Life sucks. Yes, Charlie.
And I just want to point out, since 1900, we're talking 120 years,
Mhm.
the only person that has been president has been either the Republican or the Democrat. Nobody else. That's history.
Yeah.
You think you can vote for somebody else and not have one of those other guys be president? Go for it.
You know,
but-
I mean, it is a horrible reality that third parties and fourth parties don't really have a decent shot.
As
in
much
this country.
principle as it is protest. So
Bring the wigs back.
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's called biting your nose off to spite your face.
No, you have to
You
deal
voted
with
on
you have to
principle.
deal with the system that we have. I don't know how we change that. Do you have any suggestions, Rob? Is there any way we can
You know,
change that?
Josh would be the perfect person to ask that to.
Oh, Josh, yes, Josh. I forgot in this plethora of people we have here that Josh is up there. Josh, go to you. Is there any way that we can do away with the two-party system and get it to be a 3 or 4-party system where all the parties have an equal chance? Or
It's not required by law. People can just simply make different choices. Would be the most simple way.
But isn't the problem that stands between multiple parties and just two-party system the electoral college and how many
Yes.
votes you have to get in order
Yes.
to win?
I mean, that's a possibility, but
Mhm. What we could say is if we didn't have the electoral college, that the people with who get above a certain amount, there's a runoff.
Yeah.
You know.
that would take,
I'm normally on
people-
Brian's side because if you've got, let's just say you've got George Bush, George W. Bush, and anybody on the Democratic side, and you don't like either one because you think it's the status quo and it's the same. I get it. You want to vote for a third party, because you know what? Either one is not very good. But when you've got somebody like Donald Trump and anybody else, I mean, it's just. at
I
this
heard the
time,
same
it's
rhetoric
more
about George
important.
W. Bush, and now the Democratic establishment is cozying up with George W. Bush, as well as his acolytes, John Kasich, too. I mean, people hated John Kasich with a passion, but guess who's speaking at the DNC convention? In fact,
Yeah, that's
more
stupid.
screen time, who's getting more speaking time than AOC, Alexandria
Yeah.
Ocasio-Cortez. It's John Kasich. Fuck the Democrats.
Maybe he should get more time than AOC, though.
No.
AOC is new to the party. AOC, wait, let me finish. AOC is new to the party. She's a congresswoman. She's had less than one term. And so if they're going to have people speak, they might go by a certain seniority. I mean, would you disagree with me, Robert, on that one?
I think John Kasich speaking at the convention is somewhat intriguing, just
I
by
agree.
virtue of who he is and where he stood politically for years.
Because he's
I'm anxious to hear him.
he's a Republican, and he's one of the
And
Republicans
he's
that's
been
come out against
every
Trump.
Democratic bill that's ever been put up.
That's true.
Well, I mean, which is probably mostly true, but I know a lot about John Kasich because I live in Ohio and he was our governor here for a while, and I didn't vote for him, and I don't particularly care for him politically. I don't believe he's a terrible human being. If you don't want him to speak at the convention, that's a valid opinion, but I don't know that I'm going to lose my mind over it because what are you going to do? Make this a club of Democrats only? I mean, you're going to start turning people away? You're going to start acting like the other side. I mean,
Plus, let's add.
what kind of message
yeah.
is that to send if the guy says, I'm not in your party, but I believe in the guy that you're running?
But to
And I
give
would
him
like
more
to come speak
screen time,
about it because I'm a well-known person and I have something to say and I think I can help.
What screen time, Brian? This is a virtual convention. Everybody's going to be talking from their home, from their basement, from their living room.
He,
I mean,
he
I
will
guess
be
what I'm
given more
saying is-
airtime. How about that? If we're going to go argue semantics, he's going to have more airtime as a ranking Republican because you threw in my face how much more seniority he has.
They're getting
He has
people up
seniority as a
there. They're getting
Republican.
people up there. They're getting people up there. They think can get the American public to vote Democratic.
Well,
You got to admit something. AOC isn't exactly that kind of person right now.
Well, I mean, right. Let me.
Certainly not.
You
He's
know,
certainly
I
not.
admire her. I like her. I think she's fine. I think she's a little amateurish at times, but I think she's getting to learn her job. I think a couple of more terms, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But I don't think that just simply because she came into office and she's a young woman and she's blabbing her mouth off, that she necessarily gets a seat at the table, at this point. She has to earn it like a lot of other people did. And I agree with you about Kasich, but I think he's there because he's there to convince Republicans to vote for Biden, and so he has a value in being
they are
there.
trying to expand their voter base and their party, which is a good goal. I mean, but listen, Kasich is a guy who was elected to 2 terms in Ohio, a statewide election as a governor. I mean, listen, no president has been elected in over a century without winning this state. Okay? He's important here. And as a whole, Kasich's ideas in many ways and the type of things that he stands for are far more representative of where America is than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, I've argued before that areas of the country like this are far more representative of the nation as a whole than a neighborhood in New York City, which is what she represents. I mean, I'm not against her,
Right.
but I'm also, as a working person who doesn't live in New York City, I'm not for all the stuff that she wants, I mean, but I'm willing to hear her out as well. I guess what I'm saying is when you stop being okay with hearing other people out simply because they don't carry the membership card of the party that you're in, oh, that guy wasn't on my, fuck that guy, then you've turned into them. And I have an issue with that. I mean, that's my issue with it.
Robert, you seem to be agreeing with that.
I agree wholeheartedly. That's why I said I'm intrigued to listen to John Kasich. I'm not quite sure. Maybe Josh could answer me. What is his standing in Ohio? Is he well respected generally? Like, what do Ohioans feel about John Kasich?
Yeah, I mean, look, he was a congressman here for many years. He lived in Westerville, a suburb here of Columbus. He was a congressman from that district for a long time. He's been very well liked in Ohio for a long time. He was elected to 2 terms as governor here, won easily both times, no real question. In fact, he defeated an incumbent candidate the first time that he won, which is always difficult. A Democratic governor, by the way. And he has been pretty much outspoken on Trump since the beginning. He's not one of those, he didn't ride the Trump train to anything, which I can at least respect a little bit. He came to that party a lot earlier than people like, fucking Mitt Romney or people like that, I mean,
well,
if he were running today for the governor of Ohio, I'm not voting for him. Okay. But that doesn't mean when I pass him on the street, I'm going to spit at him.
Right.
He served his 8 years here and we're fucking all alive. Everything is fine.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is that right now what the Democrats have to do if they're going to win is to include everybody, to bring everybody into the party and to get everybody to like what they have to say. Yes, Charlie.
I just wanted to point out that there is a precedence for this too, in that Joe Lieberman spoke at the Republican convention in 2008.
Good example.
He's a lifelong Democrat.
Listen, I mean, I understand. If you don't want to hear him speak there, I'm not going to argue. Everyone is allowed to have that opinion. Yeah. I'm just saying that, I mean, other people who in the past who have spoke at, the Democratic National Convention include, Eva Longoria and Scarlett Johansson. I mean, I love both of them, but I mean,
Yeah.
they spoke. What the fuck? I mean, what the fuck do they really got to say that is not already been said? or
You
wasn't
also have
written
to
for? I mean,
remember,
you know.
Brian Ludwig you have to remember that the conventions are basically just 4 days of publicity,
Yeah.
you know, and public relations. And you got to do what you consider is best for public relations. It's not a political function, really. In fact,
But
I've often
used to
argued
be.
that they shouldn't get all that free time. Just to, you know, go in and follow the speech that the winner gives and the vice presidential candidate gives and leave it at that. But no, they do 4 days of this and it's one big advertisement.
I would just add too that if we want to learn from it historically, we can. And what I would say is America is not in favor of third parties right now. I know a couple people on the panel are, and they wish that it would happen, but they're just not. And you can go back well over a century and they have not been. Theodore Roosevelt tried to run third party. He was a beloved former president. Didn't work out for him at all. It was an embarrassment.
Bull moose. Yes, Rob.
I mean, well, I'm just saying the Perot thing didn't work. I mean, I know he got a lot of votes, but it still didn't work. It's never gone anywhere. C-SPAN is rerunning a program that they made about 8 or 9 years ago right now called, The Contenders. People who won and lost for president but changed history. And almost every single one of the people that they're profiling, the Eugene V. Debs and all these people, were all third-party people, and none of them went anywhere. They made an incredible impact, but America did not accept.
I think the most...
Is it America that's not accepting them, or is it the system that won't let it happen? So that's kind of what I think
they were on the ballot in all 50 states or however many states were at that time. Americans voted,
but here's what you've got. Look, let me say something. Here's what you've got to deal with. You've got to deal with, to begin with, a media that is only going to cover the two parties. Everybody else is going to be covered as lesser than in their minds.
It shouldn't happen that way, though.
Of course it shouldn't happen that way, but what are we going to do to get the media to equally cover the smaller parties too?
Change laws that says that if you have money behind you, because right now it's the Democrats and the Republicans, and they've got a lot of money behind them.
Do you know the thing that used to upset me, Rob, was when they used to have the minority candidates debate. Well, why can't you have the minority candidate debate the majority candidates? Because maybe one of them might look better than the majority candidate.
Absolutely, they're afraid of that.
But we
both of the parties together, the big parties, are afraid of that.
The only guy that came close to making any kind of a dent, and in fact he did because Clinton got elected because he was in the race, was Perot. Who? What did he get? Did we say the other night? 20% of the vote, something like that.
19%.
19%. Yeah. That's not inconsiderable, and it was enough to make sure that Bill Clinton won because he took the votes away from whoever was running against Bill Clinton at the time. I'm trying to remember.
H.W. Bush.
Bush, H.W.
First.
So, I mean, there have been not successful runs, but runs which made a dent. But
what about
still,
Anderson? He got 12%.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Was it like 1980?
Yeah. Was that the Reagan?
Yeah, I think that was the Reagan.
Yeah.
First Reagan.
Carter. Yeah.
Who and the party what was the big party? The Green Party we had last time. I interviewed the woman who was running on the Green Party. What was her name, Brian?
Jill Stein.
Jill Stein. I interviewed Jill Stein. Biggest dope I've ever interviewed.
Yeah.
Just an absolute dummy. You know.
I mean, run for president, and her buttons were a paper plate, like a picnic paper plate with her name on it.
Wait a minute, I've got a little problem here with Tony's picture. He's doing all kinds of silly stuff. Look at that. It looks like you're in a witness protection program, and they don't want you to see who. Is everybody else getting that same thing?
Not on the Zoom.
Skype.
Only on the.
I can see it. You
can see it.
He looks normal.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that happens here.
I mean, I guess what I was saying though was that was the point about the third party issue is, you know, and C-SPAN's point of their program was that these people did make a tremendous impact. The Perot's, you know, the Eugene Debs and you know, Theodore Roosevelt and others. I mean, but the point that they all had in common was two things. They all made a tremendous impact on history. I mean, they helped change and mold new political paradigms and new landscapes.
Yeah, they made
But the real thing that they all shared in common was that they all lost.
Yeah.
And this is, and I know people want to blame the system, and if you believe that, and I can't change your mind, that's fine. But it has spanned 125 years.
It doesn't mean it shouldn't
That's a
change,
pretty
though.
large sample size. At some point, it is what it is. I mean, if I told you a guy was hitting, you know, $185 in September, you would say, well, that's what he is. If I said it the fourth game of the season, you'd say, well, it's early.
Okay,
125 years is a pretty decent sample.
Hold on a second. First thing, I cleared up Tony's picture by just doing some stuff here. People saw it on the air. Went to one person on the screen at a time and brought it back, and it got rid of that. And Jeff has had his hand up, and I wanted to get to Jeff because Jeff doesn't talk a lot. Okay? Yes, Jeff.
Well, I voted for Perot. I don't know if anybody else did.
No, I did.
And
So did I.
You did too. Phil did.
And you know, I thought a lot about him at the time, but of course he almost quit somewhere in the middle. Remember?
It was not somewhere in the middle. It was towards the end. He had good numbers and everything, and then all of a sudden he said, "I'm not running." And
I think Bush.
Huh?
I think H.W. Bush. He said that they were coming after him and his daughter and his daughter's wedding. And, you know, I mean, H.W. Bush was the head of the CIA. Who knows what he's capable of?
Yeah, but, you know, on the other hand, and I don't like George Daddy Bush that much, didn't like him that much. I didn't like his son that much either. But he was a fairly decent human being. I mean, he wasn't, you'd like to think that because he was with the CIA, he was capable of that. I don't think he was. I don't think it was in his nature. You know, I think it's in Trump's nature. But
I don't think it was in Perot's nature. I mean, here's a man that was paid $7 billion by GM, and he says, "Hey, look, I taking the money is going to hurt you guys. Why don't you just put me on the board and give me a little bit of money at a time, so I can help the company be stronger?" And they said, "No, we don't want you. You take the money."
Yeah.
So he started EDS. But you know, the thing is, Perot, I believe, was a patriot and a good guy.
Well, you know, I wasn't sold on him, but I certainly liked the effectiveness of his third-party run, and it talks to what Brian was saying earlier. Is that it'd be nice if we had somebody who had a real shot at it, you know. But right now, there's only one thing we got to do, and of course Phil will disagree with this. We got to get rid of Trump. I got to tell you, the latest stuff that Trump has been doing.
Post office?
With the post office.
Collecting the mailboxes
This guy, and you should be frightened of this, Brian, because this is right in your paranoia bailiwick, okay? This guy is trying to literally steal an election. He's literally trying to rig the election by not allowing the post office to send in mail-in ballots. And by the way, it's also screwing up all the other mail, too, while you're at it, all because Trump won't sign a $25 billion bill to get money to the post office so they can adequately operate and, during the election period, take mail-in ballots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that the mail-in ballots, as Trump says, is a con, and what he's doing, he's fighting the Democrats. The only way he knows how, which is
it's bullshit, Phil. He's doing it. He's doing it because he thinks. Here's where he's stupid. He thinks that the mail. I'll get to you in a second, Brian. I see your hand. The mail-in ballots, okay, are going to hurt his chances to get elected, and that is why he is trying to stifle the post office. Where he's being stupid is who uses mail-in ballots the most, Democrats or Republicans? Republicans
already get their what do they call them? The advancce ballots.
Absentee.
Absentee ballots.
Same thing as mail-in.
No, it's not.
No, it is the same thing. At least here in New York. At least here in New York. What's the difference, Phil?
The difference is that the mail-in ballots are mass mail to all voters.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. No, they're not, Phil. Not here. Wait a minute. Hold on a second, Phil. Not here in New York. What happens in New York is you have to ask to get a ballot. You have to ask, and you have to supply a signature and proof of identification.
That's right.
You then get a ballot with a barcode that you have to sign the ballot so that it can be verified. Phil, that's not the case here in New York. Hold it. No. That's what it is. No, Phil.
That's an absentee
That's
ballot.
not an absentee ballot. That's the mail-in ballot here in New York.
Ballot. I don't vote absentee. I vote mail-in.
I work the poll in California, Phil. I know what you get.
Yeah, I saw you sliding on the pole, and I wouldn't put $1 in your bra either.
I just
Very funny. Wait, Rob's got his hand up.
I
Rob,
get fives all day long, baby.
Rob's got his hand up.
I just this week went on the Virginia website to register for a mail-in ballot. And you have to provide driver's license. You have to provide all kinds of ID. They mail you something, and then you send that in. They're not mass mailing anything out.
Nope.
That's an absentee.
No, it isn't. That is the mail-in ballot system, Phil.
You get
for it. You have to ask for it.
Get your ballot in the mail.
Phil, they don't randomly send out. Phil, under this mail.
California,
Wait a minute.
Get your ballot in the mail. It comes as a sample ballot. You turn it into what you want. You can take it to the poll. You can check the box and say it's a mail-in. You can check it, call it an absentee. You put it in the envelope. You sign whatever you got to sign, and you bring it to either the polling place, or you take it to the county, or you put it in the mail. That's how it works in California.
But you have to send in a postcard, or you have to send in something that says that you want to vote absentee.
No, that you want to vote by
Check the
mail.
box.
Let me tell you this, Phil. Marjorie sent in for both of us. We are now registered to vote by mail, not absentee. Wait a minute,
Right.
vote by mail. We
Right.
didn't have to say any reason why we needed this. With absentee, you have to say it's because I'm not in the state at the time, or I'm in the military and I'm overseas, or whatever. And then she got a ballot. I didn't get one. I thought I got screwed, and then I suddenly realized, of course they didn't send me a ballot, because I'm an independent and I can't vote in a primary. So there's proof right there that they don't just randomly send ballots out.
Once you check the box,
They
it's done.
want to randomly send ballots. That's the problem.
That's what Trump.
Phil, that's what Trump wants you to believe, but he's wrong.
He's lying about that. He's not lying about Kamala Harris.
Everybody lying.
And the
Yeah,
GAO,
that's right.
the
And Kamala
GAO,
Harris is
lying.
also a birther, right?
yeah, Kamala Harris isn't a citizen.
Come on.
No, I don't think so.
Ah.
She's from San Francisco.
No,
and LA.
no, she's from Oakland.
Oh, even worse.
If you listen to what he says, he's lying.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Did Howard say something? Let's hear from Howard. We haven't heard from him tonight. Yes, Howard.
I went online and I looked on California's website, and here's the deal. This is the definitive. It's apply to vote by mail.
Right.
Or you can apply to permanently vote by mail.
Mhm.
There you go.
Check in the box.
Yeah. Yes, Brian.
But you have to ask for it.
Okay.
Correct.
No. You get
Okay.
your ballot, and then you check off the box, and then you vote by mail.
But you check off the box you asked for.
Okay, will you let Brian ask his question, please? Other Brian. Brian with the...
Okay. I'm approaching this from a different angle. Again, I vehemently disagree with Phil, but that it's a con, that voting by mail is rigged by itself. No, it's not. The post office, though, there's a reason why the post office is experiencing more problems than it should. Yeah, Trump is trying to, rig it so that he gets himself reelected by, moving mailboxes around and shit like that. Even in Pennsylvania, I saw on the news that was happening here in this state. But the post office had a lot of its funding taken away in 1970, I want to say, when it was removed from department status and by Congress. And at the time, Congress made that happen along with Richard Nixon's signature. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the deconstruction of the post office.
Well, no, the
began
worst thing that
much
happened,
like Trump being a symptom of a much larger problem, so too is this a symptom.
the worst thing that happened to the post office was as follows. They put out the Congress, I think, passed a law that the post office had to pay out what their health insurance, what was it, their retirement
reserve.
for they had to put
75 years
for
ahead.
75 years ahead. Yes.
No other agency in America was forced to do the same.
Yeah, and that's why they got bankrupted, because otherwise it was pretty much paying for itself.
That's
Yeah, it
because
was. You had a profit before that.
It's because the Republicans want to privatize it, so they want to drive.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's to stop the voting that way, but prior to that, it was to privatize the whole thing.
By the way,
'cause they
let's
were
say
taking
hello to
money
Ray.
from
Wait a minute. Let's say hello to Ray, and let's say hello to Patrick.
Hi.
Wow, 15 people.
Wow.
Scary.
a
Yeah.
Listen to your rant.
All I'm saying is that the current stance by Trump is so stinky, you know. And then he says it's going to be a real show. You know, there's going to be so much problems because then we're going to argue about voting, and it's going to be a real problem. Well, I got news for you. It's going to be a real problem the other way. The Democrats could justly claim that their people have been prevented from voting by not allowing mail-in. You know. And so, I mean, he's already setting, he already knows he's going to lose. And when he loses, he wants to be able to have a way to refuse to leave. Okay? That's it. Plain and simple.
Alex, are you confident he's going to lose?
Huh?
Are you confident
I'm
he's going to lose?
very confident he's going to lose.
Then
yes.
what does it matter if I vote green or not?
That's getting back to that other discussion. I'm saying that right now, that he has loser's breath on his.
He may, but he did the last time too, and he won. And all the polls were against him because people are afraid.
Different time now. People are so sick of this guy being on.
Right.
This guy is people are so sick of hearing from this piece of crap every single day. They're exhausted by having him be president. That people are going to vote against him just because they're exhausted.
Hope.
There are also statistical differences.
Did you talk about his what he's doing with the post office and how that?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
just follow the.
It's just that if he is successful,
it's number 3. It's number 3 on your list there. It's on the list.
Look at the run. Look at the show run.
Yes, Robert.
There are statistical differences here. Hillary Clinton at no point had 50% of the national polling. At no point. Part 2 is in swing states, Biden holds in many polls a double-digit lead, which Hillary never, ever had.
Don't trust.
So there are differences. There are
Trump.
big differences.
And they
Just
also
afraid of
didn't
polls
have
when it
well,
comes to Donald Trump.
I am saying that what he's doing is he's setting it up so that when he loses, he's going to say, "I didn't lose. I won. This was rigged, and I'm not leaving."
I have a cousin who told me this straight out. She is a tremendous Donald Trump supporter, but she says, I will not tell anybody. And I believe a lot of people feel the same. She said that a friend of hers drove up with a Donald Trump bumper sticker on her car, and she's like, are you crazy having that on your car?
Where do you live, Rob?
It's not where I live. This is Orange County, California.
Well, come on.
Well, but I'm just saying, right? You know, they're staunch Trump supporters, but they will not tell anybody. She told me I'm family.
Yeah,
they're true
That's the scary thing.
People will damage your car. I don't put it on my car. I mean, I have a flag with the thin blue line on it, and people will cut you off. You know, it's like Facebook out there, and
you're right, it is,
and they feel empowered.
People don't like Trump.
Let me ask Patrick here what he thinks of all of this, and I'm sure the answer I'm going to give is I really don't give a shit. Right, Patrick?
Pretty much. I mean, Hillary still won and she won, so I don't see any difference if Trump losing and he won, that he won. I mean, Hillary's been doing it for almost 4 fucking years. So
Yeah, well, she did.
tired of listening to her fucking
He
baby.
never tried to move in the White House.
So,
You know, she had a lot of votes. She had 3 million more votes than he did.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. That's not her system.
That's right.
Yeah.
It should be
Yeah.
though.
It's not
Why?
yet. I mean, movements have been made to make it so that the popular vote overcomes the electoral vote, but we're still not there yet.
I think
And
right now,
Trump won.
right now we have.
He took advantage of the system and he won. On account of it.
Are you there, Bree? Bree, are you there?
16 people?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Brian's here. Hey, Brian.
Hello.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, we
16
had
people.
16 people. There we go.
Here he is.
And Bree is now number 16.
16.
Tough to get in.
Record.
God damn.
Yeah. Turn up your mic a little bit there, Bree, if you can.
Can you put
Oh,
on
there you
the
go.
link on YouTube?
I didn't put the link on YouTube tonight. No.
Okay.
No, it is on
Phil
YouTube.
directed me to the website.
Oh, I know. I put up made a new thing, and I forgot to put the.
Yeah, it hadn't been there the last 2 nights.
Yeah, I forgot to do it. I'll have to do.
It's on
That's really stopped
gabnet.net.
everybody, hasn't it? 16 people. I don't think I've ever been on here.
Yeah, well, you
Bruce.
can always, if worse comes to worse, just go to Gabnet, and the link is there.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay, that's what you do. Just go to Gabnet and go to the
Just
link
save it
there.
in your Zoom.
Huh?
Like you said before,
Yeah, that's
notepad.
what I did.
Yeah,
Well,
I forgot
I'm
to
out
put it
and
up on here because the other night I had to change. YouTube changed everything on me again. You know,
they did a
I
lot.
had to I had to re-enter all the stuff that goes into what you see there, and I forgot to throw in the fact that Zoom us at blah 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 blah. But if you ever have that problem, and also I think all of you after calling this number, you should be able to somehow make a note of it and be able to call it just
It's
using
stored.
Zoom. What?
Stored.
It's in my memory. It's in the memory banks of Zoom. So, yeah,
Where is it in Zoom? Did
Yeah,
you say?
where in
It's in the
Zoom?
drop-down list on Zoom when you go to call. There's a
Zoom
list.
Oh, I see.
Join
Okay.
under join. You just
Yeah.
go to the
Yeah.
drop down list.
So
If
just
you've been
use
on-
that too. But I will correct that in the next couple of days. So.
So, Bree, what's for lunch?
Well, I am at a famous place that does pork steaks, and I'm getting bacon and bacon polenta.
Oh, pork steaks. Is that a steak you eat while fucking?
No, pork.
A pork steak.
tube steak.
Get it? That's a tube steak. Right. Who said that? You.
It's rare to find that, in Dubai and in Malaysia.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
The
get it
tube
like
steak.
By the way, you are being kind of. I have the Gabnet logo up there. Maybe I should take it off because you're unfortunately, Bree, because there are so many people, you are being obliterated by it. So let me take away the Gabnet now.
Okay.
Nobody
No,
can know
leave it
what's
up. I
going
don't
on
mind-
here.
I don't mind being obliterated by it.
Yeah, but anyway, so where were we? Oh yeah, so I
You
mean,
want to talk about
Trump.
stuff that interests me?
stuff that interests
No.
you.
Hey, Phil.
Well,
So how was that safety class?
well, that's probably what he wants to talk about.
Well, no, that was a good class. It went an hour and a half. It was on the AR-15. But today, the Ninth Circuit Court overturned the limited magazine ban on guns. In California, you're not allowed to own a magazine that holds bullets that's over 10 rounds.
Well, I never could get bullets with my Playboy magazine, for
Yeah,
instance.
well,
So-
they overturned it, and this afternoon. So everybody was out ordering, because if you order it and they overturn it again, it's legal for you to
hello.
possess those
Okay, thanks a lot.
magazines.
Yeah.
So I bought 6 30-round AK AR-15 mags today, and the website was so slow and it was so overloaded with people buying. But I'm sure that judge will be overturned on Monday. But because it happened this afternoon on Friday, they couldn't do it.
Are you the Scarface of Walnut Creek?
Yeah, say hello to my little friend.
Wait, what is that? The Camilla Tobacco house?
Yeah, that's here in this mall. I just walked past it.
Yeah, but that's not the way Kamala Harris spells her name, is it? No.
Kamala.
Kamala, so what?
Yeah.
Wasn't Kamala a wrestler? One of those.
By the way, does anybody know what secondary defamation is? Oh, look at that! Oh, that's yummy. I love pork.
I heard Biden accidentally call her Kamala today.
Well, Kamala is how it's pronounced, actually.
I think it's Kamala. It was on Tucker Carlson that, like, one of her lackeys.
Yeah, but anyway, let me get back to the thought I had here before it goes away like an old man's thoughts go. The whole thing with secondary defamation. Does anybody know what it is? Because I learned all this when I was doing radio. You can't defame somebody by saying, I heard somebody say that, and then say something which is defamation. Because what it is, it's secondary defamation. Because by uttering the defamation and saying you heard that, you're using that really kind of as an excuse not to get sued. But you can get sued for secondary defamation.
So is that true on social media?
I believe it holds true on social media too, but you got to go find the guy.
Nothing's true on social media.
But what the president did in essence with Kamala Harris, Kamala, whatever her name is, Miss Harris,
Kamala.
Senator Harris, Senator Harris, was secondary defamation. Oh, well, I heard that. Okay, and supposedly he thinks that separates him from being called to account for having said it. But what he did is he threw the information, he threw the rumor out into the ether, and then was responsible for spreading the rumor. So that's secondary defamation.
Yeah, but he can do whatever he wants. He's president.
Yeah, laws don't apply to him.
He can shoot someone
in the middle of Fifth Avenue,
and he can buy the bullets now to do it with.
And he can get nasty magazines this weekend in California.
He can change the number of votes. Woohoo!
Yeah, but
that'll help the school shooters.
Yeah.
It'll be.
But anyway, with the whole post office thing, I'm just seeing a setup coming. And if he does remain president of the United States, it's going to be because he refuses to leave and claims that he was ripped off and that the election was illegal, and then he'll take it to the Supreme Court. And, he's going to throw this country into a constitutional crisis. You think he's going to leave, Phil, if he loses?
He said he might not.
Absolutely.
Absolutely?
He said he might not.
How would you
The only
feel if he
person
doesn't?
that said that he wasn't going to leave is Biden.
He said it.
He said it, Phil. Phil, he said it.
He said he might not leave.
He was asked the question, and he said, I might not.
And how will you feel if he doesn't leave, Phil?
Well, I guess they won't make the beds at the White House, and they
Joke
might
again.
go off the electric.
No, you didn't answer the question.
If he loses, he'll leave. I don't.
But if he doesn't leave,
If he doesn't leave, what are you going to do? What can we get out of you besides the $20 that who bet with you? That Robert bet you.
If the sun doesn't come up in the morning, I'll use a flashlight. The guy will leave if he loses.
But if he doesn't leave, what will you do? I know that you're going to have to give $20 to Robert, but what are you going to do for the rest of us?
That guy's going to win. Robert, don't spend that money too fast.
Yes.
So you didn't hear him say that he might not leave?
Yeah, well, let me hold on a second.
heard
First Patrick, then Bree. Patrick.
I mean, come on. If he doesn't leave, I'll walk. Okay. And the chances of him not leaving are that small. I mean,
Really?
give a fucking break. Everybody just in a tailspin over this fucking guy. The thing is, if everybody would stop watching the television every time he's on, y'all might have a lower blood pressure. You might have some fun in your life, like me today. I sat outside and I read a fucking book with some coffee. I didn't worry about fucking Kamala Harris and Joe and Trump and, just fucking relax.
Oh, listen to Mr.
Are signing.
I want to know.
Listen to Mr. Chillmaster there.
I want to know, Alex, who certifies the votes in each state Is
I
it an
do.
attorney general? And are they under Trump? Like, can he tell his attorney? Like, I'm thinking that Trump has powers to change the vote, essentially.
Where do you guys get this shit from?
Well, let's look at Georgia.
The same place that
When you
Donald
see the
Trump gets the
mailboxes,
information that Kamala Harris is an alien.
Phil, when you see pictures of mailboxes being picked up and hoarded
Yeah,
and
I
taken
saw
away
that.
someplace, it makes you think those kinds of things.
They're
I've been
keeping
around
them-
this planet for a long time and
They're
haven't
just-
seen anything like this.
They're just making sure that the rioters don't burn them.
Yeah.
How clever.
Now they're just taking them.
You know what? You know what gets me is we're sitting here griping about mail, voting by mail, when in fact that's probably safer than voting at polls, because how many polls were rigged? How many ballots were lost? How many
Probably.
ballots were dropped
To say
into a
nothing of
river
virus.
Chicago.
somewhere? Huh? What'd you say, Jeff?
Remember in Chicago?
Chicago. Kennedy got elected because of,
That's right.
of fake
Democrat.
ballots. And these were ballots that were cast at polling places.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
50 years, 60
Well,
years
Hanging
ago.
chads.
Did you all miss the thing that
Well,
happened
50 years
with
isn't
the UAE
so
and
old for
Israel?
me.
And, you know, I mean, this is good stuff that's going on. But
UAE.
Trump had nothing
hold on
to
a
do
second.
with that.
Hold
That's
on a
all
second.
bullshit.
I lived
Let's
in Dubai.
Let's talk. He lived in Dubai. Let's hear from
I can
him.
tell you what's going on. All right, so here's the deal. In Dubai, people from Israel came to Dubai. They did that before this announcement. They will do it after the announcement. There was an incident several years ago and it was tied back to Israelis. So when they came in, they were given bodyguards essentially to go around with them. But it's kind of a little bit of theater. Trump and Kushner have a good relationship with the leader there. So they said, look, we need this. You're already sort of got good relations. So could we just make this announcement? And he was like, okay, we can make this announcement. So,
you know, this is the third country in the Middle East. You got Jordan, you got Egypt, and now you got the UAE.
And who made the deal? Who made those other deals?
It was Carter.
Was it Carter that made the other two deals?
Yeah, Carter and
The
Clinton.
Egypt deal.
Okay, so but this thing with Trump,
this was not because of a groundswell of citizen support. This was a leader saying,
But listen to
"I'll do
it.
a favor for him."
It was the leaders that
No,
worked with
Phil.
Egypt.
Phil, when I first heard it, Bree, when I
But
first
here's-
heard it, my first feeling was the UAE. That's a slam dunk. That's an easy one because they do business with the West anyway, and they want to keep everybody happy, and
Well,
you know.
And one more thing, and then I'll shut up. This can be reversed the same way that it was announced. It can be reversed the same way that it was announced. And if you don't think so, that happens all the time over there. Like, you know, you think you can buy a house. They'll say foreigners can buy a house, or you can get a 5-year visa. You can get a 10-year visa. And then 2 weeks later, they'll say, oh, no, we're changing that rule. So you have to be careful with it's not necessarily a long-term thing.
Are they going to make
Hope it
the
is,
other
but-
Arab countries happy with the fact that they are now signing a treaty with Israel? You know,
Well, they've
I mean,
never been that aligned with the other Arab countries anyway. Am I right, Bree?
They are more aligned with them. than they
Phil,
were-
listen. I asked Bree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to make a big deal of it because it's theater, it's announcement, it's things that they're already doing it. Now they're just publicly acknowledging it for the time being.
Yeah.
And who
But
gets fucked
the thing
in
you have
the
to
whole
know is there are a
deal?
lot of
What
Palestinians
were
who
you
live in
saying?
the UAE.
John Larkin, what were you going to say?
Yeah, who gets fucked in the whole deal is the Palestinians. They're the ones that are getting fucked because Israel's gonna, you know, they're not agreeing not to annex any more of the West Bank. They're just postponing it for a while.
They agreed to stop.
Not stop, just
honor
postpone.
this
Not permanently.
deal.
Not permanently, just temporarily.
Hey, nothing's
Let's wait till
permanent.
after the election.
Phil, you've got a lot of misinformation, so I think maybe it's
I
time
got
for you to back
misinformation.
off. Yeah.
I happen to know that there was an agreement between Israel
Well,
and the UAE.
yes, and we know it too, but also we're telling you, and Bree is telling you, that it ain't no big deal.
Nothing's a big deal if Trump does it.
Phil, can you tell me why is Trump acting like my why is Trump acting like my super in my building? That all of a sudden he returns my calls 3 months before the Christmas bonus is handed out.
Yeah, okay. But meanwhile,
Yeah, he hasn't done shit. He hasn't done shit,
neither has
and
anybody
now he's
else.
trying to pull out anything out of his ass he can do to say that he's done something. But you know what he hasn't done? He hasn't saved 167,000 lives. That's what he hasn't done. Under his watch, he has been negligent, Phil. Negligent.
Wait a minute. Bennett, there you said there was going to be 2.5 million people die from this virus.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I never said that. I never said that.
That's what the
No, you said that I said it. You said that I said it. You said that I said it. You said that I said it.
That is gaslighting.
He's gaslighting, yeah.
He said that 2.5 million people. That's what your Cuomo said. That's what they said.
No,
167,000.
I never heard.
A hell of a lot better than 2.5 million.
Phil, I never heard 2.5 million at any
Pull that out
point.
of your ass.
Wait a minute. Well, let's go to another expert here because you're not an expert on shit. Brian Neary.
Because I don't.
What were the estimate? What was the high estimate you ever heard? I heard around 300,000.
Yeah.
In
And
the
I
United
remember when
States.
they're only hitting 50,000, and then Trump was saying, "Oh, it's going to be well below this now," because he thought he had everything under control, and it just shot right up.
Hearing 2.5 million.
I never heard 2.5 million worldwide, Phil. Never.
Trump said that.
Trump said it. Trump said it.
Yeah,
but he's
Trump
the only
said
one.
it.
And that makes sense.
So did
It is what it is.
Cuomo.
Cuomo never said that, Phil, and I watch him every single day.
All right. You're gonna make me do a search.
Yeah, go do a search.
what it is.
First, don't forget to
back
go
to
to
us tomorrow.
Don't forget to go to Newsmax as your first choice.
Breitbart.
OAN.
Yeah, OAN,
OAN.
Breitbart. You know, all your normal, usual sources. He didn't say 2.5 million in the world, but he, some people. The high estimate was 300 million,
How many
300,000
worldwide right
in
now?
this country.
300,000.
Huh?
300,000 worldwide.
300,000. No, in this country. Worldwide, I don't know what the estimate was.
They said Florida had its highest death total today. I think.
Yeah, they did. They're coming. They're up to
So did
10,000.
Texas.
What?
So did Texas. Texas had its highest death rate yet.
Okay, how many have died so far in Texas? Do you know?
We passed the 10,000 mark today.
Wow.
It's gonna keep going on.
So
As I said
and New
before.
York, who was in big trouble, I think we hit what 23,000 deaths.
But the one
That was
positive,
early.
Wait a minute.
yeah.
Let
Before we
Tony
knew what to
speak.
do with it.
Tony hasn't talked all night.
the one positive that I can take out of the deaths, which right now, it seems like though New York, we got hit the hardest with the death rate, but it looks like the death rate is going down. So they must be learning how to treat it a little better. Even though they don't-
Yeah, they are.
Phil has his proof. What's your source?
First place I found was the New York Times, and
Yeah.
they said as many as 1.7 million people could die.
Well, that's not
In the
2
world, right?
But Phil, you said 2.5 million.
Said between 160 and 214 million people in the United States could be
Could
die.
could.
Could die?
The big word there is could.
Infected,
Yeah, if
infected,
we don't do
infected.
anything.
If we don't do those estimates, Phil, be quiet.
Rand,
Phil,
what are those
be
estimates?
quiet and listen to me. Phil, be quiet and listen to me. Those estimates are based on nothing happening. In other words, without mitigation, without wearing masks, without doing anything, that's how many people could die. Wait a minute. That is not the estimate that people said would happen if we started doing mitigation. Am I right, Brian?
When was that estimate? When was that estimate?
When was that estimate, Phil? When was the estimate? What's the date on that? What's the
167,000.
Phil, by filibustering, you're not going to make yourself right. What's the date on that article? What's the date on the article, Phil? What's the date on the article?
March 13th.
Oh, that's good.
Jesus
Of
Christ.
course.
But
There
have
was
you had
nothing in
any
place.
deaths by then?
There was nothing in place.
It was early estimates. I said it was
my
up to
goodness.
200
Yeah, they were saying if we don't do anything, if we don't shut down and
That
all
was-
that.
times.
That was before shelter in place. That was before.
Fake news, New York Times.
You know, I'd rather just talk to Brian Ludwig for the rest of the show.
They didn't say anything about not doing anything. What they said was it could be up to
Yeah.
1.7 million.
Yeah, Phil.
That was the New York Times.
Mhm.
Other agencies.
Phil,
said it was-
You're wrong, Phil.
You want to see
Right here.
You're wrong because you're interpreting it the way you want to interpret it. Those were without mitigating
How
factors.
long did it say it would take to get there, though? It still
Yeah,
could
that was
get there.
before shelter in place.
2 weeks.
No,
Oh, 2
bullshit.
weeks? Oh, come
I
on,
never
Phil.
said that. Come on.
Yes, Tony.
We took my mom to the foot doctor to get her nails cut.
Her nose cut?
nose.
And
Her
he said,
nose cut off.
I'm eating here, Tony. I'm eating.
You know what?
Despite her face.
Both of his parents,
What?
Alex, his parents died of COVID.
Who?
Who's
The
did?
foot doctor's parents. The one with the dad was 90 and the mom was in her late 80s.
Well, then, you know, they were going to go anyway soon.
Yeah.
You know.
He said there's nothing to fool around with. She was looking good on because he says we came on the exact day from the last time she went last year. He says, "Where's my cake?" Because we went August 7th, and we exactly went on the year anniversary. We didn't realize it.
Wow. Wow.
She gets a pedicure from the doctor.
No,
Yeah,
when you get old, when
yeah,
people get really old, sometimes they have to go to a foot doctor to get their nails cut because the
They're
nails
like
are so.
claws.
Eating here. Eating here.
Nails get
Talons.
Yeah.
At the body shop. Get the grinder.
I am eating here.
Oh yes, excuse me.
It weren't bad. It's just like a quick snip.
How about
Maybe some cream on her foot, like moisturizer.
Let's talk about foot fungus. Come on.
Oh God.
Kevin, you've been quiet in the last hour or so. Anything?
I think he's on the phone.
Oh, I think he's on the phone. Okay.
I heard that not Bree, but Trump is spreading foot fungus amongst the Democrats by taking away their
Phil,
mailbox.
I just wish he'd spend one day and shut up. Just one day. Just shut up. Yes, Patrick. Yes,
That was
Patrick.
yesterday.
Patrick.
You can shut up if you turn your TV off, for one.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And as far as Bree worried about foot fungus and that, would he rather I talk about putting a catheter in?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Tell him about that.
I mean, because what I do is I typically move the catheter about 3 inches.
Show us.
And then I thread it into my urethra.
Yeah.
Let's see a live demo.
This is a new program called Let's Make Bree Lurch Lunch.
I'm leaving. I am leaving. You guys keep this up.
Anybody have hemorrhoids?
Oh, I have a hemorrhoid. Yeah.
Yeah, I got one. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
No,
Especially when you take them and push them back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just push them back in.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
They come and they go. You don't have them.
Hey,
They
Brian,
come
we're
and
getting
go.
towards the end of the show. I wondered where she was going to be. We always end our show
Waiting.
with a bit of happiness.
Stop talking
here,
about
folks.
bad stuff.
Yeah, this is.
Look at how cute. Oh my God.
She's adorable. She's
Hi.
she's the mascot of this show.
Adrian,
Just replace my dog.
and put it on the website.
Yeah.
To go closer.
What?
Hey, go closer. Say hi.
Hi.
I want to go to
Say hi. Say
Yeah.
hi.
You know what I want to hear? I did this the other night because when we have this many people, I like to have everybody do it just so I can hear it since I haven't had a live studio audience in years. Is for all of you to give a round of applause at this point of the show, okay? Everybody.
Bravo! Bravo! Hey!
There we
That's
go.
hilarious.
Except for Josh, he's on his cell phone. Anyway,
Brian didn't clap.
Brian didn't clap? Yes. Anyway, hey, listen, that's about it. I got to run the theme here and make sure everything is still working here. Hey, listen, it's been quite something. We have a total of, what is this, 16 people?
Yeah.
17.
17, 16.
Right here. There's 2 here.
Oh, 17, you're right.
It's the new math.
Yeah. Anyway, Josh, thank you. Thank you. Brian, nice having you here. Love having you here. Robert, always a pleasure. Charlie, terrific. Howard. Aloha.
Thank you.
And Brian and that lovely, lovely girl you have sitting there on your lap by the name of Adrian. Look at her. She's posing.
Hi, Black Pea.
Yeah. And thank you, Rob. Thank you, John Larkin. Thank you, Kevin Stopper. Thank you, Phil Meyer. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Ray. And thanks to Bree in Dubai, not Dubai, but in Kuala Lumpur. Gesundheit. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and we'll give you a big wave goodbye back, okay? That's our citizen panel, folks. That's how she rolls. Thank you for joining us. Let me wave goodbye back, and we'll say goodbye to them, okay? There they go. They're cutting off right now. They're probably all getting ready to go over and have fun doing the intersection with Jack Bishop. He's next over, most of the same station. I'll be back again Monday. Yes, what time? Of course, the usual time, 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. And by the way, stay safe out there and wear a mask. Have a nice weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.